this nice SD40-2 from Kato and N-Scale, and I bought it used. Other than a little bit of dust, it looks pretty good, but I'm not sure how well it runs. So let's go put it on the track and let's find out how that goes. Well, the light comes on, but it's not going anywhere. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this apart and we're going to try and find out what's wrong with it. These have some really cool details. For example, the AC on the top, this antenna. You can just pry on it and remove it. I really like the way they make these. Two reasons. If you want to get in there, paint the antenna a different color, you can. And imagine you have a factory. You're going to set up a factory, you're going to build a bunch of these. You would have to buy truckloads of glue. By doing it like that, with well-fitting plastics, the advantage is you don't have to buy any glue to make them. So that's good for me. I get more enjoyment out of these models, but it's also good for the environment, and it's also good for Kato, because I don't have to pay for trucks and trucks and trucks of glue. So removing that shell on these is really simple. This is the new drive, by the way. The old drive, it had the gears on one side. These, the gears are in the middle. There's an arrow telling you which way they should go. So that's very easy to work on. I did one of these before. This is my second one, and I enjoy the way they run. So my shell here, it's a little dusty. I'm going to run it under my tap with some dish soap and a toothbrush. And then this part here, we'll take a look at it. The circuit board here, it's a very straight DC circuit board. And I really enjoyed, they have ditch lights. I really enjoyed that about them. So these don't have any screws that hold them together. They're held together by the shell on top and the gas tank on the bottom. So I'm gonna get the gas tank loose. They have this extra detail strip. I just push it out of its notch here. Push it out gently. You can see this is would be the frame of the locomotive. So they put all these extra details here. There's a bell, there's fuel fillers, the fuel gauge, and this is wiring for the traction motors. On the other side, they have fuel filters. Over here, these are fuel filters. So it's really well detailed. So once I got the gas tank and the frame loose, then I'll pry in between the frame halves to get the trucks to come out. So I'll pry right here. You could pull straight on the trucks and it will undo itself, but I don't like doing that because you can lose the little worm gear. And the worm gear has very little bearings. The little bearings, I do not want to be running after them. So if you pull on this part, it'll detach this black part here, and you'll be left with the worm gear and the small bearings in your hand. I'll show you that in a second. So I'll pry on the frame like so, and the trucks come out, and then the gas tank can come out. Very easy. That's going to go for cleaning as well. And then I have to remove the circuit board, and it just slides back. It's very easy to remove that too. Just have to take your time. this will slide back and then it can be removed. Just like that. And then your frame halves will come apart and you're inside the engine. Now that doesn't look too bad actually. Looks like new. So I'm thinking the only thing that was preventing it from running was inside the trucks. I'm just going to put some power to it just to make sure that the engine's fine. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see, but the trucks, they look misaligned a little bit. They look crooked a little bit. Something's not right. So I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody started playing with it. That this truck needs to be realigned for sure. Something doesn't look too good there. This one, I think this one looks okay. But it's very stiff also. So I think I'm gonna take this one apart first. It's so stiff I can't turn it with my fingers. Okay, so if you just pull straight on the trucks, you will separate this black part from the green part, and you're gonna end up with a small, very small worm gear and a very small bearings in your hands. Now this is a good design. This is one of the best running locomotives I've ever seen. The ES44s and the AC90s are like that too. It's really cool stuff. There, so they just come out like that in your hands. Okay. Well, there's your problem right there. This one didn't have its bearing. So somebody did play around with it and they did lose the bearing. Well, that's going to be fun to fix. So this is the part that's missing. The little bearing at the end. Now it's very easy to lose this. It's available from Kato as a replacement part, but I'm just going to refocus this for you. Very easy to lose this. So I can get it from Kato, but I don't want to wait. So I made my own replacement parts. There, I made it out of recycled material. I'll show you what I use. This is a plastic cover that I get when I buy food. I use this to make windows for buildings or windows for engines, passenger cars or whatever. So I just cut up a little piece and I drilled a hole in it to make my replacement part. So I used the thickness twice. I made 2 washers. So that's going to hold until I can get the real replacement part from Kato. Lots of people lose these. So in order to avoid losing these, I just put them in their little nests while I'm working on the rest of the trucks. So as you work, keep your stuff organized. The person that lost this, probably what happened is they took off the trucks to work on them and they couldn't get them put back together. So this truck is the one that was all bent out of shape. So we're going to go in there. Probably it's the 2 pickup strips that need to be put back together. So this comes out like that. This is just a couple gears with and with the carrier. So you can see there's a little bit of fuzz there. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleaning in there. They're hard to get out. You have to get in there and pry gently. You have to get out. So I'll get them out off camera to just remove some of the lint. So it's very small gears in there, but it's still worth it to take them apart to make them squeaky clean. So the side frame makes a cradle that actually holds your axles in. It's the same as the other ones. You can clean them with your rag, just like I always do. And I'm also going to run them with my toothbrush. This is what was the problem, the contact strip. The contact strip, the way it's made, actually gives it a little bit of a suspension on the center axle. So it just wasn't exactly placed correctly. So I will clean my wheels and clean my cradle, and we'll bend this back into shape. It's all deformed. So we'll bend this back into shape and we'll put it all back together. This one looks pretty good, and I'll show you the other one for comparison. This one's bent out of shape pretty bad. That's probably the reason why the wheels were all crooked. So I'm going to straighten it out. Now that looks much better. So the side frame cradle also has a little gear here. Okay, so we're going to put everything back together. So your contact strips, they just sit there. There's a little locating pin for them. So they should just sit there nice and easy. Then I'll put the other side in. They should just sit there, and the thing that's gonna keep them apart is your wheels. So the wheels, they don't have any directions to them. They just sit in the bearings, in the contact strips. They sit in the bearing cap, and it will keep the two sides apart. That's what's going to keep them in their place. So the way I found works best is you start with the two ends and then you finish by the middle. After that you can add the little carrier for the gears. You can't put it like this, it won't work. So it has to go this way, with the longer side going inside the locomotive and the arrow pointing outwards. It'll just snap right in. Now you can try it with your fingers. You should feel absolutely no rolling resistance. The hard part is done now. Now we're going to take our worm gear with this little carrier, and we're going to put the rest of the truck over it. Now this is my Kato one, so that fits in nice and easy. Now once you have that, you can test it by turning the universal axle. Turning the axle, you'll see the wheels turn. And that will end up like this, being turned by the motor. Then we'll do the other side. The other side is the bearing that I made, which will be there temporarily until I get the new one. I really like these. I find these to be the best version of the SD40-2 that you can get. So I find it's worth spending a little bit of money to get the the real Kato part for this. I really enjoy these. Yeah, looks like we're nearing completion. This little tab here from the cradle holds the contact strip in place, so make sure that that's well where it should be. The gas tank and this pin will be holding the two frame halves together. So I'm going to put that back on together. So I'll be putting my light board back together. Don't forget to put this the contact strip under the light board, or else it won't be able to run the engine. So make sure to tuck it under there. So I will always test it as I go, just to make sure that everything's good, and then I'll put on my truck. So these just snap in there. What you have to do is you have to put the drive shaft close to where it goes, and then gently rotate the flywheels until you can feel it going in. Once it's in, the top of the truck will just snap right in. There, that feels good. Same thing for the other side. It will just slide in there. Once it's in there properly, it will just snap in. No glue required. So that looks pretty good actually. Let's go see if it works on the track. That is such a nice running locomotive. So while I worked on my drive, it gave a chance for my shell to dry. All that's left to do is put it back on. Goes right back on. Nice and easy. And now it's time to run some trains. I really dig those ditch lights. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon.